Hi, I'm Michaela Cherry. I am a primary therapist here at First Light Wilderness. I primarily work with the adolescent female group, range of ages 13 to 17. My background in clinical mental health started in undergrad. I had studied art as my major and picked up psychology. Originally wanted to do some art therapy with my career, and had really not been introduced to the concept of wilderness until I moved south to Georgia from Michigan, where I grew up, and got introduced to the world of outdoors. And I was introduced to the concept of wilderness therapy and knew that that was going to be where I ended up. That seemed to me that the perfect opportunity to mix two things that I really loved together. So I worked as a field guide for a couple summers in the groups, loved that. Took a break to work in a variety of different outpatient, inpatient places around Metro Atlanta where I live, and found myself at First Light. It was perfect timing, and couldn't be happier here in this role. So I enjoy working with teenagers and adolescents because I think that the world tries to treat them as if they're kids and adults at the same time. And a lot of times it leads to them feeling really misunderstood. It's a really special time in life where we are trying to develop our identities and build connections and set ourselves up for a successful future. And a lot of times, like, the teenagers just really aren't getting the mental health support that they need. And I love working with them because they are, in some ways, like, able to communicate as one would with an adult, and they're talented, and they have passions, and they have beliefs about the world and themselves, and they are funny and smart, and it's just a really special population to work with. And I couldn't see doing the work I do in this type of way with anyone else but teenagers and adolescents. What drew me to wilderness therapy was, when I was introduced to it, it just seemed like the perfect blend of things that I loved. I love all things psychology and working with children, working with families, but also on the side, being able to just be outdoors and nature having a really special place in my heart. As I mentioned, I grew up in Michigan, and it's very cold there, and really not like a lot of opportunity for outdoor experiences and activities. And when I moved to Georgia, and that kind of became more of an option for me to explore what I loved about the outdoors, I knew that that was going to be, I needed to find a way to mesh that together. And wilderness therapy is that perfect blend for me, where you're getting the beauty and all of the great parts about being outside, how it calms down your nervous system. You're getting to experience changes in the world in real time with the therapeutic elements that we bring clinically. I really think that First Light is special and holds a special place among other wilderness programs because of our trauma and attachment focus, and that we are in such a beautiful southern location. We're able to have our adventure component really do a lot of things with the kids that in colder environments in the wintertime they might not be able to do. So I think that that's really special about us. But trauma and attachment wise, I think the population of kids that we're seeing, and just with the trauma of these family systems and the world that these kids are growing up in, I think that being our focus is really needed. And it's just a lens that I think is not utilized as much as it should be with the kids that we're seeing today. I am really passionate about working with kiddos who are super anxious, that can look a lot of different ways. And a lot of times anxiety can go unnoticed in today's world because, these kids are able to escape from that anxiety through either substances or social media or just, their phones. And a lot of times they're not even connected to that sense of anxiety, but it's showing up in all of those behaviors, falling back on substances or social media, their friend groups and things like that. And then you also have the high achieving, the people pleasers, the perfectionists that that's the way that they're running from their anxiety, is to perfect and please. And they just can't take that pressure anymore. Those are the kids I really enjoy working with, because it's either that I'm helping them to develop the coping skills to kind of bring down that anxiety and get them back in touch with their bodies, or I'm helping them to step out of that dissociation piece where they're too shut down to really connect to their bodies and connect to their feelings too. So I think for myself, anxious kids, there's also something to be said for working with kids that take after yourself a little bit. So I can come in with, my own perspective, but also the trauma and attachment perspective, and really meet these kids where they're at and develop their treatment plans, their experience in the woods, their challenges based on their needs. My message to parents that might be considering First Light or wilderness therapy in general would be this, is that I know that this is such a stressful time, and the families that come and make this decision, they come to us in a state of crisis, in a state of intense need, and it's hard to step back and trust the process, especially when you have no idea what the future might hold. So my message to parents really is just to take this time to take that step back, step out of crisis mode, take care of yourselves, practice that self-care, so that you can come back into this family work with some energy and just a sense of rejuvenation for yourself. If you're a new kiddo at First Light Wilderness, I imagine that this probably isn't the path you would have chosen for yourself. And as a therapist, I understand that and recognize that. And of course, right? But this is an opportunity for you to do some incredible growth and healing. And even if you don't believe that you need it or want it, just take advantage of the opportunity, because you'll be getting to do things that most people your age don't get to do. And you'll be able to look back on this time in your life with nostalgia and love and appreciation for the people that also helped you along the way. Firstly, I do hope that my body won't betray me and that I'll be working in the wilderness until I am old and gray. But when that time does come for me, whenever that comes, I hope that we have done our part to rebuild families, heal trauma that has been passed down through these family systems, through generations, for years and years. And that kids that are growing up in this new world with technology and heightened expectations, that we've prepared kids to really lead the next generation after them, so that they can continue the work of healing those generations too. So once that time comes for me, I hope that we'll be able to leave behind that legacy.